Hello there and welcome along to the 10-pin bowling World Singles Championships 2016, coming to you live from Qatar. Venue for this event is the Doha Bowling Centre in Qatar, 32 lanes, reinstalled here in 2005. And just getting underway here with this afternoon's action. Just gone 2:30 local time. Play will continue right the way up till 5 o'clock this afternoon. And it's the women that are in action next. 32 women qualified through to this stage. And now it's time to whittle them down to just 8. So the way they do that is 4 groups of 8. And that'll be broken down with the top 2 of each group going through and qualifying. Interesting system in play here as well. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of how it all works very shortly, because alongside me is Kevin Dornberger, who is the Chief Executive Officer here. And Kevin, we saw this morning with the men, very successful day's play so far, and this new system seems to be working out well. You had to give them a bit of a hurry up though, didn't you? They were playing a little bit slower than you'd have liked them to.
Good afternoon, Michael. Yes, we had one particular group of 8 that seemed like it was maybe a siesta time. We had to give them some reminders about the pace of play, and they got better. We got through it. I think it's interesting to note that the 8 finalists for the men tomorrow, we have 3 from Europe, 3 from Asia, and 2 from the Americas. So I think that's okay. Gives us a little bit of a different flavor from all over the world. Yeah,
certainly a nice mix there of all the nations, and as we can see out there, we've got the women in action as well today. Over 50 nations represented here in 2016, and things just getting underway. This is game 1 of 8, so plenty of bowling to look forward to over the next couple of hours or so. We'll be keeping our focus mainly on lanes 15, 16, 17 and 18, when we're going to get to see a majority of the athletes from Group B and Group C compete. And maybe just a quick reminder, Kevin, of just the slight change in rules and regulations for this format that we're playing here in Qatar.
This is still considered part of the qualifying, but it's really after the first cut. They've bowled 12 games, and the high 32 ladies are now bowling in this format. This format is much like a football format. We have 4 groups, Group A through D, and based on ranking, there are 8 players in each group. Each player is bowling against all 7 other players every game. And they bowl 8 games on that 8-lane set. For example, if the lady shoots 300, and that's the high game on the 8 lanes, which I hope it would be, they get 7 points because they went 7-0. So it's like Man U is 7-0 for their schedule. If they shoot 120 and there's a low game, then they have 0 points for that game, and they're 0-7. And the only thing that counts towards who advances tomorrow, who doesn't, is the number of points they accumulate over 8 games, not their total pinfall. 2 ladies out of each group of 8 will advance tomorrow to the semifinals.
It makes for an exciting afternoon's viewing, so if you can stick with us here on the live stream, that'd be great. We're keeping an eye on things. Lane 17 there, nice strike in the 3rd frame for Rocio Restrepo.
Rocio, Colombian. She's played in the national team for many years. She's now living in the U.S., bowling in the ladies' professional tour, and has won a couple of titles last year. She is a very good player.
One to watch then in lane 17, and just alternating between 17 and 18 with Jenny Wegner of Sweden.
They both have. Jenny Wegner is 22 years old, and she is one of the best lady players in the world. Certainly one of the best in Europe. Jenny is going to be really good for a long period of time, so they start out right away with a tough opponent.
We were lucky enough to have her in the commentary box with us earlier. She was sort of commentating on some of the men's games that were happening just in front of us here, and it seems like a nice girl as well, and plenty of enthusiasm out there.
Both these young ladies really love the sport. They're workout freaks. They're on social media all the time. Nice people.
How big a part is that these days, that the social media aspect, and that your athletes and players are involved in that, and also the fans back home watching? Because we know from our streaming here, people are watching in Scandinavia, they're watching in North America, South America, there's a huge world audience attracted to this event.
There is, and it's becoming more and more electronic. Social media, live streaming, etc. It's the younger generation, and they love the use of those kinds of devices. So they're used to this. They're tuned in to when their friends, when their country is playing, and they're watching.
We've got a message for any of the players, or you want to make your comments heard, then get online, find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram, and you can hashtag all your comments, Qatar World Singles. Semi-finals tomorrow, as we said, but at the moment 32 women out there, and we're going to whittle them down to just 8, with only 2 qualifying from each of the 4 groups. Way to our left-hand side there, Jespers of Belgium.
I don't know Bauke, I know of her, she's 19. She's just becoming a player for the Belgian national team, and obviously she's good enough to make the top 32 today.
I guess for the younger players, we can see our coach there just lane side as well. Great to draw on that experience, but it really is about playing in these high pressure games and getting that experience up over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it is. This thing, the pace goes so fast here, there's only 1 player per lane. It's really hard to get much coaching, and I think probably a lot of the coaches here are more here for mental and psychological support than they are for the physical game.
Late movement on that one from Restrepo, but just not enough to bring it back, and left 4 there too little too late. She'll get a second bite of the cherry with her second ball.
Rossio will do some jumps for her. She's got some energy. Colombians have long had a very strong national women's team program, and their men are pretty good too.
She's got that little skip at the end, hasn't she? Just when she tries to urge the ball to take out the final few pins, a little skip. See if you can keep an eye out for it as she tries to go for the spare here. 4 remaining in lane 17, frame 5 for the Colombian. A little skip just to help it on. No need. Clean strike. So the spare earned there by Rothio.
She may save the skips for her strike ball, actually.
Possibly. Jespers as well, a strike this time for her in lane 15, that coming in frame 5. So game 1 of 8, as we said, plenty of bowling to be done here, and a good spare there too from Manico.
Long-time Swiss national team player.
Yeah, she looked good in the warm-up actually, really had her eye in. But as you say, the conditions changing from lane to lane, and what will be really telling is in the next couple of games how they take that challenge on.
It wouldn't be unusual to see several players have good games the first game because they've had 10 minutes of warm-up where they're starting. The next game they move and they start cold. It's a different condition, and typically scores go down that second game.
Rothio and they're both getting strikes in the 6th frame. Two head on that one there into that first pin from the Belgian Jespers. More clinical though for Manico. Wegner cleans up.
Jenny throws one of the strongest balls in the women's field.
I think around the 23-kilometre mark. I'm just trying to squint my eyes and look to the screen. It's about 23.1, I think, kilometres an hour.
A lot of revolutions on her ball too.
Yeah. Great strike from Rothio Restrepo.
Good break for Biggie. That was a pretty good shot on 16. Normally would strike.
Back there with those long levers of hers, gets another strike on the board. great technique, bang on, perfect, good result.
Jenny has a really, really solid game. For a 22-year-old, she's very advanced.
Strike for strike there, alongside each other. The Belgian Jespers as well. 5 from the coach, put that one in the bank. Her strike coming in the 7th frame, 1-2-8 her score currently. To the Colombian here now. Rocio looking for some late movement on that one. Oh, just leaves the 10 pin.
We had a little hop, but maybe it wasn't high enough.
Should be able to size up that remaining pin though and pick up the spare. Strikes in the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th for Wegner, playing alongside her from Sweden. Colombian needs to pick out pin 10 and does so cleanly. Keep an eye on all of the scores at the bottom of your frame. That's a running tally of the total. That's the individual total, of course, and we'll keep you abreast of how the players are doing as they muscle for rank. The top 2 from each group of 8 going through and qualifying for tomorrow's semi-finals. Jespers there just leaving the 7 pin. Wegner. Oh, little clatter and takes the 10 pin. Little scout coming across again.
Yeah, that's the scout, and there are not many ladies capable of getting scouts. She's one of them.
Great when it goes in your favour. Good feeling inside, and another strike on the board for Wegner from Sweden. It's 5 on the bounce now. And there's the strike again for the Colombian. So Belgium up next. Tricky shot on the 7. Not so, says Jespers, just bangs that one down in frame 8, picks up the spare. 2 frames to go. Wegner and Restrepo. They're just 1 frame ahead. Final frame they go into. Monaco cleans up for the spare as well in the 8th. Beautiful touch from Wegner.
Trip 4, Jenny is smiling about that. Looking at the players in front of us in Group C, it's a tough group. We've got 2 Swedish girls, we've got the Colombian, we've got the U.S. They're tough. Only 2 of those at the max get to advance. So Group C is, maybe we can call it the women's group of death.
Okay, yeah. It is a brutal group. There's a strike 2 for Monaco of Switzerland, who's in Group B. Yeah, not an easy group. 1 in 4 chance of qualifying. You've got to play your best out there today to pick up one of those top 2 spots. And going for the spare. Again, great shot. She'll get the extra ball here. 2-3-8, incidentally, the final score for Jenny Wegner. She's got another chance to extend on that actually here. Possible 30 points in the final frame, remember. Not such a high scoring affair. To the left of her though. Jesper's currently on 162, as is Monaco of Switzerland. Lovely finish on this back straight. Heading home with a strike. 191 the final score for Rocio. What a game this girl's had though. And another strike there. Unbelievable.
Jenny is a very solid player. Now, interestingly, she shoots 266, 268 if she strikes here in the last ball. We'll be curious to see what she shoots next game when she moves to a pair that she hasn't practiced on.
Yeah, we can keep you across all of the remaining 7 games as the girls look to qualify and push through to the semi-finals. But a great start for Wegner nonetheless. 2.58 currently, and as you say, another strike here. She'll finish on 2.68. Just spares in the 3rd and 4th frame. Every other frame has been a strike. See if she can finish big. Leaves the split there on the 7 and the 10.
It's the place to leave it. Doesn't cost you very much.
Yeah. Well, 8 points picked up from that last play. 2.66 final score in game 1. Jespers finished with a strike there. First ball of the 10th frame. And you see Wegner leaving shot. She'll move further down. She's away to our right-hand side in the 20s, and the lanes away to the right. We'll very much stay with the focus, as I said earlier, on lanes 15, 16, 17 and 18, but can bring you bang up to speed with how everyone's progressing in the tournament. Monaco drops that final pin, and that's spare for her. 182 on the board, 1 ball to go. A possible 192 there to finish. Almost have a little domino effect on the cards there, Jespers, but still quite an awkward split there, that one to finish on. Yes, please. Striker 192, the finishing score for the first game for Biggie Monaco. Throw now for Jespers of Belgium. Oh, just misses it, just missed the 10. So 194, 2 points better than Monaco in that particular game. And as we said, 7 points for winning out of your group of 8. No points if you finish 8th. And you can obviously pick up 6 for 2nd, 5 for 3rd, and progress your way down to the old dreaded 0 points.
We know Jespers had at least 1 point because she beat Biggie Monaco on her pair of lanes.
Just wait for those first game results to come in. Some new players into lanes 15, 16, 17 and 18, but again it'll be very much focused around groups B and C. C, which you've labelled the group of death. I like it.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the people in group B because they're still playing this game, and there's a Singaporean who's marvelous. There's Latvia who's very good. There's a German who's very good. There's a Colombian who led the qualifying. So Group B and Group C are pretty loaded.
Yeah, we're actually going to have a look at the Colombian next in game 2. She's going to be here, Clara Guerrero. So
Clara is a multi-time world champion.
Look forward to seeing her. She'll be in lane 15 next, just in front of us. Alongside her in lane 16 will be the Finn Sana Passanen. Stephanie Martins getting us underway though. In lane 18. Marita, our opponent. Interesting big stance, planted the left foot down. Nice and heavy. There really isn't any time to breathe, is there at all, in the format of the tournament? I like it. I think it works well.
think that our sport is athletic and requires some stamina, and this format requires them to be moving pretty much all the time.
Missing that, then just the 9 points from frame 1 for the Brazilian. Similar to for Martin, so level pegging after 1.
Bonita Mayan, 17, won a medal at the World Championships in 1999 in Abu Dhabi. I was there, I remember her. She was very young at the time.
Wow. Yep. What do you remember of that time?
It was a brand new bowl center, 40 lanes, an arena setting. They had just built it, especially for the World Championships. We had 650 athletes there. We were there for 3 weeks. It took forever to bowl because there was a lot of athletes. People were astonished at this new bowling center. It was my first experience seeing world-class athletes from all over the world. I mean, it was a marvelous experience for those that were there. Abu Dhabi was a great host. We were back there again last year. They still are a great host in the same center. And some of the players, not many, but some of the athletes are still here today.
The fin that you just touched upon there. Spare with her second frame. Martins then of Brazil misses again. Just struggling to knock down that final pin on both occasions in frame 1 and now frame 2, so 18 points from the 2 frames.
Two good players on 15 and 16, Sana Pasana from Finland and, of course, Clara Guerrero from Colombia. Clara is a workout fanatic, and she has won since she was 20, and she's now winning in her mid to late 30s. I hate to date her, but I guess I just did. I don't think she minds because she likes being so competitive at this stage in her career.
That's what it all is about, that thirst to win. We've all got it. So we get to the crunch point of the tournament. Another strike there for the Finn, her first of game 2. Game 2 of 8 for the women out there today. So we're still just finding their rhythm, getting their eye in. Guerrero for the spec. Shot.
Clara has won at least 2, I think more, professional tournaments in the USA, PBA tournaments that were open to men. Like there were men's tournaments, and she was one of the few women in the field. And she won at least 2 of those. That's not too bad when you beat the men's field.
Where do you see the key differences between the men's game and the women's game? We touched on it a bit this morning, and a few of the athletes just think about, you know, it's where you line up slightly more to the left for the men, and particularly here.
The men are much more of a power player type than most of the women are. The men out of this morning's squad, I would call maybe 20 of them power players out of 32. There may be 4 or 5 women that I would consider power plays. We just saw one, Jenny Wagner, last game. She's a power player. Somebody throws it fairly hard with a lot of revolutions on it. Most women play a little straighter, a little more to the right, because they just don't have the mass and the ball speed that men do. But scoring-wise, they can compete fairly equal.
As Guerrero shows there with a strike in the second frame. For those of you that are new to the sport, strike's handy because then you'll not only pick up the 10 points, but also plus the points of the next 2 balls thrown as well. So if you're new to the game, scoreboards are up here at the bottom. Familiarise yourself with the scoring system, but yeah, a strike means the next 2 balls thrown, you get those points as well. Key to convert there once you've got a strike, and back-to-back strikes too. Simon. To make it 3 in a row's a turkey, remember? Yeah, lovely shot.
Sanna's a good player. She's only about 22, and Finland is, again, like Sweden, has a long history of producing really good athletes, especially in the women's side.
Is it something they put in the water there, or there's certain areas of the world that really do feature, very highly?
I've been to Helsinki several times. I have good friends there, and it's a cold country. There are many times of the year where you'd prefer to be indoors than outdoors, and I think that helps our sport. People are inside bowling more often than they might be, for example, here in Qatar.
It's a sport that is growing in popularity here in this part of the world. And the World Singles Championships 2016 hosted here by in the city of Doha. The Doha bowling centre, a strike there for the Brazilian Martins. Took a while to come, but nails it in the 5th.
If you note, she stood up, she pulled the ball, caused by the stand-up, ball in the middle, split.
You can often go on the player's reaction as well from when they've released the ball, that when they hold that really strong finishing position, you can tell that it's going to be right on track.
If they don't fall off balance, they have a pretty good chance for a good shot. If they fall off balance, there's going to be trouble.
Beautiful work in lane 15 from Guerrero again, the Colombian. That's 3 strikes on the bounce now, a spare in the 1st, strikes in the 2nd, 3rd and 4th for her. Switches to lane 16, same effect.
I hate to pick favorites, but just seeing what I've seen throughout the week and already today, 2 of the players we've already seen, Clara Guerrero and Jenny Wegner, I'd be surprised if those 2 are not in the finals tomorrow. And they're cut out of today. Really, really good players.
Big call. We'll certainly keep an eye on that. Wegner of Sweden and Guerrero of Colombia, both looking to get into the semi-finals first of all. It's top 8. Martins again here for Brazil. Comfortable shot there, so pick up the spare. Lovely shot. Half celebration as she came away, a smile to herself. Accurate. The maximum score. This follows suit. Just a bit of late movement there, changing the course of the ball, leaving the 6-10 finish.
Late movement is advantageous, but it helps if it's also in the pocket. Sometimes it's not so good.
Guerrero is making light work of those pins in lanes 15 and 16. Look at that. That's right in the pocket. So 5 strikes in a row for Guerrero. Martins picks up the spare. Just a few stray pins out there at the moment. So all the bowlers that we're watching in the 4 lanes, 15, 16, 17 and 18, a chance to make their shots here with the spare. First up will be the Colombian, Clara Guerrero. Job done. 169, our current score. Cleans out the 3 remaining pins she had left in the 8th frame. Takes her to 154 with that spare. Easy picking for her, and finally that's all 4 who dispatched their spares in this group in front of us. Good work. So onto the 8th frame for the Colombian and the Finn in lanes 15 and 16. Frame ahead of them. So it's 2 strikes in a row here, the 9th and the 10th. Add to that another possible frame for Hassan. Guerrero with the strike in the 10th and final frame of game 2. 6:10 left by Mayer. Final moments of game 2.
Planafores on 17, long time, long tenure, Swedish national team player, very good player.
Yeah, opening her account with a strike in frame 1 of game 3, which has just opened up on lanes 17 and 18.
Playing Rebecca Bukulis of Australia.
Should be a
Rebecca
good
enjoys
showdown.
the game. She smiles a lot. I like players that smile a lot.
Certainly helps. Smile when you're winning. Not so easy to do when you're losing, of course.
It isn't, but when I was down there the other night, she was struggling, and we had a little chat, and she was still smiling, so I appreciate it.
That's good. Guerrero then to finish on a good note, just leaves. Pin stood there. And we'll finish with a score of 2-4-8. Should be good enough, we think, to at least pick up the 7 or 6 points. And we'll bring you some of those results from the group so far. So game 3 of 8 just about to get underway. And as we say, we've been focusing very much on Group B and Group C, the women's game. Laura Bürtner of Germany leading the way after the first game. She picked up the 7 points, and Karen Meccano, Venezuela. Jenny Wegner, of course, in lane 7. Matt Hook tries to bring round from right to left. First lane next to some
Hold her own score.
and 3 pins out in lane 16.
She's got about a 99 to 1 shot to pick this up. Not very much, and that shot was a little slow. That's why Diana went to the nose and she split.
And if she makes this shot, pretty epic effort. Routine stuff for the Swede in lane 18. And for the Latvian, almost a bit more power behind that one. Look for the ricochet onto the 10. Just the 9 points coming from that frame though. 44 her total after 3 frames. As well with the strike. Back-to-back strikes for the Swede. Let's see if she can make it 3 from 3 now in lane 17. The German, Hüttner, just hopped and tried to urge those final few on. It's a little too phased at the moment. For 3 on the bounce, and yes, she gets it. There we go, Turkey in the bag.
Sweden has a very strong program. We only allow a maximum of 2 entries in men and women from any one country, but Sweden could easily field a field of 6 that would be equal to the field. You could say that for Singapore, for Colombia, for the U.S. There are several very strong countries in the women's side.
What are those countries' individual processes then to select their top 4, their 2 men, their 2 women that come to an event like this? Is it different between each nation?
Yeah, it is. Most of the countries do some kind of an event qualification process. Some of them keep track of points throughout the year based on the number of events that are set at the start of the year, and players accumulate points, and then they accumulate number allows them to go play events or not for the national team. Most have a qualification tournament that they would have to show up and vote. Many of the Colombians have moved to the U.S. because that's where the women's professional tour is, and then when Colombia has their qualification, they go back down to Colombia and bowl that.
It's not a bad way to spend your year. In there, all over, just holding precision. She was halfway through her swing there and then just stopped to come back, get some more grip on the ball. Didn't quite feel settled enough to play the shot. Now we'll just start the whole routine and the whole process again. There, the German, actually just leading how the scores have come in from round 2. So the German in lane 15 leads the way. Zakjalova here, currently in 4th. That strike will boost her up a little bit in this game, game 3 of 8. Tidy finish from Vukalos. Tricky shot here though for Person playing for to finish on in the 10th frame. Good effort, but leaving the 7 pin. 2-on-5, or 2-on-2, sorry, for person playing for. 2-on-5 currently for Australia's Rebecca Vukolos. Savage-Alova. Much better, on point there in lane 15. Striking home. That's 3 strikes back-to-back now for the Latvian in 4, 5 and 6. Vukolos just leaving the 10. Chance to make spare though here with the last ball for Vukolos. German then, who leads Group B. That's why. Strike after strike consistently in the first 2 games. Only a second in this 3rd game though. There's a spare for Rebecca Vukolos to finish on. That's the end of game 3 for her. 2-3-4 her final score. 2-1-2 person playing 4 of Sweden's final score. We'll shift on now to the next lane. Not even halfway yet, so still plenty of bowling still to come. Appear to have as much power on it, that particular shot from Savage-Alova.
When Diana's on, her speed is consistent, and I've seen her be on many, many times. And I have to say, this championship, she's not been as good as I've seen her, because her speed control appears to be just a little bit off. She gets some shots slow, and her hooks to the nose.
Strike again for Germany. Double now on the 6th and the 7th frame for Laura Hübner.
Difficult spare for Diana as well.
4 remaining. Oh yeah, well taken. It didn't look like that's what she intended, just from the reaction.
Surprised.
She'll take it.
Yes.
Multiple fist pumps.
You get some bad breaks, and you got to take the good ones when they come.
Still leading after 2 games. 2-6-6 in game 1, 2-3-6 in game 2. 13 points. Leading Group C. 3 left there. Two, 4 and the 7. Obviously just getting going for the United States here, I think, on lane 17.
Shannon Pluhowski, multiple world champion. At least 10 years on Team USA.
Saw her doing a warm-up just ahead of this. They're doing star jumps side by side, the girls from the US today. Actually fascinating to see how much more of a warm-up the women do to the men. They really sort of take the physical aspect of the game a lot more seriously, working the core, working the glutes, getting everything going before they go out there and bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the men can kind of get away with it because, again, their body mass is big enough where they can make up for some lack of core muscles, where the women can't do that.
Then a strike in frame 1. Here's frame 2. Same result.
You don't see much emotion.
Is there a reason for that?
She's just a very low-key individual. I've known Shannon a long time, and she just doesn't get excited one way or the other. I think generally that's good. Although you'd like to see once in a while, somebody really express their feelings one way or the other.
I guess at this stage it's about just getting through this group of 32, get down to the final 8, and then you can really get into that headspace where you can celebrate should you make the semi-finals and then hopefully the finals.
Yeah, I think this format probably would benefit somebody that has an even keel versus somebody who gets emotional.
Yeah, it's about achieving that consistency, certainly in this section of the tournament as well. The 10-pin bowling World Singles Championships 2016. Coming to you live from Doha, the Doha Bowling Centre in Qatar. Narrow miss there for Finn. Maya, already seen her in action already today. Started frame 1 with a strike, but just the 9 points picked up there in frame 2.
Unusual for Britta to miss a single pin.
Yeah, bread and butter, we would say, but has to put that one behind her now. Team USA again on form and again on strike. Shannon sends those pins flying. 3 strikes on the bounce, starting off game 4 with a turkey in the bag. Last-minute assistance to try and take down that 7-pin, but it didn't come. So just concluding moments on games 15 and 16. Game 3 of 8. The Latvian and the German, and Diana Savajalova. A strike there in frame 10. Crucial. Extra points available now. 2 balls remaining. German, who led proceedings coming into the 3rd game. Not such a fancy shot there. A little glance coach as well to see if he could offer any words of advice. I think the look says it all. Single pin kicked out this time by Maya. So a spare for her in frame 3 of game 4 in lane 18. Strike there too. That's 3 in a row for Savajalova. Well over the 200 mark now, 209 as things stand, to finish with a 219. A spare now for the German. Ski, yes, 4 in a row. A 4-bagger or a ham bone, as it's sometimes known. You heard that from one of the American commentators.
Yes, that phrase was coined maybe about 10, 12 years ago, and it's kind of stuck. The purists don't think much of it, but I think it's kind of funny.
There's still a few that haven't got names that we'll try and get our label to. You know, your 7-baggers, your 8-baggers.
Today would be a good day to find a name for them.
Yeah. Saw that perfect game, didn't we, earlier in the day? It was Grabrajan of Slovenia.
Slovenia, yes.
Yeah.
Left-hander.
He got the...
And Shannon Pluhowski, left-hander, just threw her 5th in a row down here on lane 18.
Going along nicely. I was thinking there that dozen, so it's a dozen strikes to get a maximum score of 300 in 10-pin bowling, but that could be a Doha dozen, something like that.
I like that. By the way, the Slovenian who bowled 300 also did make it out of his group, so he's bowling tomorrow in the semifinals.
Yeah, all 8 men qualified for the finals, or semi-finals we should say, and then the finals to be held tomorrow afternoon as well. Streaming across the world, so no excuse. Take us with you on your mobile phone, on your computer, leave us on in the kitchen, whatever you're doing as we approach the weekend. Friday is a day not to be missed here as far as 10-pin bowling goes. So Mayer there with the spare in the 5th frame. First time she's left one.
Bad break. That was one of the few really, truly unlucky breaks in the game.
Can you put it down to anything in particular? When you're looking technically there, it looked like the release was good, it was the right line, it was good amount of power behind the delivery of the ball.
The 5-pin has to take out the 8, and once in a while, the 5-pin is deflected by another pin before it can get back to the 9-pin. It just didn't quite make it back there. It should.
No doubt about the spare. Goes down, so almost perfect.
She just shook her head. That's about as much emotion as you get out of her.
10-pin left there on lane 15.
Shayna Ung is also a world champion from Singapore. Singapore has an extremely strong women's program.
And then Monaco of Switzerland alongside her as well. But Ung will look to complete on the 10-pin as we see another strike there from Mayer. Ung takes care of business in lane 15. So. Nicely poised here. 4 of 8 for both these 2 sets of players that we're watching here in lanes 15 and 16 and 17 and 18. A little hop and skip and a jump from Monaco as she just takes out 9 pins and leaves the 7 stranded. Another strike from Blahowski. So that's 6 from 7 now for her. He's ungrateful. Tidy finish too from the Finn. Four from 7 strikes for her. To go, and casually just walks away from it, Monaco. Thanks to Devon Dornberger for joining us and getting us going here in colour commentary position at the World Singles Championships 2016. Kevin and the team working extremely hard behind the scenes as well to make sure everything ticks along smoothly. Just to bring you up to speed with players that have qualified already for the semi-final stages, the men in action tomorrow. These are the players that have qualified. The European champion Jesper Agabo of Denmark, he'll be there. Christopher Vi of the USA, he'll also be there. Only a 2-hander. Progressing through to the semi-finals as Ung knocks down that 7-pin for another spare. Also qualifying, Marcelo Soares of Brazil. Roger Grabojan, who was a World Cup semi-finalist in Shanghai. He's going to be in the semi-finals, along with Yunus Yahi of Finland, and the Asian Games medalist Michael Mack, who is in top form today. The remaining two, Rafik Ismail, the Asian Games medalist, and also finally from Thailand, Anok Aron Saranol. So those are 8 men's finalists, or semi-finalists, and 4 of those will progress through to the semi-finals, and then we'll have our final tomorrow as well. So big day ahead for the men and the women. The women still at the last 32 stage here. This is Shayna Ung again. Yet to pick up her first strike in game 4. 8 games in total being played across the variety of the 32 lanes here. Each of those lanes playing slightly differently, depending on how it's oiled, depending how it's laid, depending how it's played. Really, it's just about how the players adjust. So almost at the halfway stage. End of game 4 will be the halfway stage. I'll give you an update of where things are standing so far. Top 2, remember, from each group of 8 going through. Another strike there for Shannon Blahowski. Just the 2 spares in the 6th frame and the 8th frame. But everything else has been a strike for the Team USA player. Remaining for the Finn. A strike there away to our left from Manako of Switzerland. 3 strikes from 4 for her, the spare in the 2nd, but strikes in the 1st, 3rd and 4th for the Swiss. They stay off the mark. As far as strikes go until now, and Ung finally gets a strike on the board in the 4th frame. Finish. Finally. Just away to our right-hand side, now to shot is Swede, who's just is turning out to be. In the 10th frame now. Picking up a strike with her first ball in the 10th frame. For maximum points in it as well. Mayor of Finland. And there is Ung of Singapore. Strike for her. Quite the power and the pace on it from the Finn. Single pin picked off by Manako. 10th frame then. Oh, nasty split there for Shannon Blahowski to have to deal with in the 10th frame. So a 7 3-pins remaining. She'll have a go at this. Nothing to lose. Spare picked up by Marita Mayer. 183, I'll give her a chance to finish on 193. She can pick up the strike for the final ball. Ung lets that one rip. Will it come back? Yes, it will. That's 3 on the bounce now for Ung of Singapore. Almost getting the side trajectory there for Shannon Blahowski. 2-4-5. Her finishing score in game 4. And that's the strike for Shayna Ung of Singapore. 117 currently, 6 frames in. Manako leaves just the 1 pin standing. Blahowski gathers her ball and moves on to the next lane for game 5 of 8. Game 4 of 8 here still going on for Switzerland's Manako, Biggie Manako and Shayna Ung. Alternating between lanes 15 and 16. It's your first time with us here. Welcome to the World Singles Championships. Closing stages of the final 32 here. Top 32 women that have qualified to this stage of the tournament, going head to head. And 9 there at the end for Marita Meyer. That gives her a finishing score of 192. So 245 for Blahowski of the USA. Meyer 192. We'll see how that affects the scores as we go into the 5th game of 8 here this afternoon. Back to lane 16 though, and a strike for Biggie Manako. 4th of the game so far, in frame 7 currently at the result. Split for Shayna Ung to contend with here. Again, she'll target the 10 and the 6 on the right of frame. Look for a rebound. So needs a little bit of extra power behind this next bowl of hers. Good delivery from the Swiss athlete to her left, Manako. Good celebration out of shot. I think we missed that one, but there we go. Into the 2 of 3 pins. A little too much to ask there, I think. So closing stages of game 4. Heading into the 9th frame. Switzerland. Left arm, hooks it in. Can't get the timing right there and she knows it. Waiting for Guerrero's ball to be delivered out there, which gets a strike in lane 14. So back to lane 15 and Shayna Ung. One more strike in the bank, yes please. Much better. Sketchy start with a few spares in games 1. Or frames 1, 2 and 3. But since then been striking the ball nicely in this home straight. Rothio is back. Getting underway in game 5 of 8 with a strike. Self-clap there, liked it a lot. Rothio wrist flipper. Good opening shot in frame 1. Closing stages then. Frame 10. Shayna Ung. Lovely finish. Takes a score to 202. Another 2 balls to play there if she wants it. It's dropping left, right and centre here. It's a nice opening delivery too. Ayla. Mariana Ayla of Costa Rica. Side the Colombian Rocio Restrepo. So worth taking the time here. Shayna Ung again. Currently on 202. 7 points remember for a win in the group. Delivers that one, pinpoint accurate again. And takes it to 2-2-2. Still a chance to pick up a further 10 points. She can deliver one more strike in the 10th frame. Rocio for Colombia. Super finish. Spare for Manako, away to the left for Switzerland. So both Ung and Manako will get that extra ball. Best Manako can do here is 202 if she finishes with a strike in her final ball. Just watch this strike come in there from Shayna Ung. 2-3-2, she finishes game 4. And joining us in the commentary box now, Christopher Vi, who's qualified already for tomorrow's men's semi-finals. Had a chat with us earlier and now joins us in the commentary box. Welcome on board, Christopher.
Thank you guys for having me.
So first of all, tell us about this morning. I mean, that was a great result. Obviously, you would have dreamt about being there, you'd have expected to be there, but you are there, and that's the reality of the situation. It's about getting the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it was a good morning. I came in with a goal and just to finish in the top 2, and you know, if I knew if I bowled some pretty solid games that I wouldn't have any issue, but scores were in my block, they were a little bit higher than I had expected, so I made sure that I kept striking because those guys behind me they didn't stop, that's for sure.
Yeah, similarly here in the women's half of the draw as well. They're going toe-to-toe, breathing down each other's neck. There's still a long way to go. We're just past the halfway stage, and Ayla of Costa Rica picks up her 3rd strike in a row there in frame 3. So perfect score so far for her. What have you made of what you've seen so far? It must be different being a spectator as it is to being a player. What have you noticed? What stands out?
Absolutely. I've been following my teammate Shannon. I've been trying to help her out a little bit. She's the only lefty in her block, so it's a little bit different. Watching her, she kind of has her own traffic, so she can determine where she goes from there. But these girls, I mean, they're striking just as much, if not more, than the guys did this morning. They are throwing some great shots, and I've been looking at some of the scores with the point totals, and they're all very, very close, so it's going to be a very exciting finish.
We've got your other teammate Kelly here as well. Scores for game 1, 236, 216, 226 and 227. She's shooting consistently there.
Yes, she is.
Leads the way in Group A.
She's going very well today. She's been a little frustrated throughout the week. She's been throwing some really good shots and just not having the carry she would like. It's as you can see, it's a little bit better today. She still is struggling. She's actually bowling even better than what her score is, but I think she will definitely take the lead.
Yeah, well, she's got 23 points, and that's just after the 4 games so far. Scores yet to come in for game 5, which are just being gathered at the moment. Some of the lanes still involved in action from game 4, and we're focusing our concentration on lanes 17 and 18. That's game 5 for Mariana Ayla of Costa Rica and Rocio Restrepo of Colombia. Both with perfect scores so far. 4 frames in, 4 strikes apiece. Backhand.
Like I said, these girls can strike.
The 7 pin just being left by Ayla of Costa Rica. First small error. It's actually Shannon just coming up and having a word with us here. What advice are you able to give as a teammate as Rothio knocks another strike down in lane 18?
You know, it's just kind of looking for ball motion. She's been throwing the same ball for the first, what's this, 4 games now. So it's starting to transition a little bit. You know, it takes a little bit longer on the left side. But she is now bowling on pairs she's already bowled on. So that's actually has some traffic on it. So she's just going to switch to a different ball and hopefully get a little bit different motion to try to get through the pins and strike.
Is it a similar sort of philosophy to motor racing when there's rubber being laid down on the track and you get more grip from from that rubber that's gone down on the track? You obviously get a better grip and better friction. Is it similar with a bowling ball?
It is. You know, as you can actually on this surface, you can actually see some lines from previous shots going down the lane. So you just kind of try to avoid those areas and get the ball to hit those spots as furthest down the lane as you can.
Just posing here in the commentary box for a quick photo for one of the local journalists. Who knows where that one will come up.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Vai alongside Michael Absalom here in the commentary box. I said this girl was from Costa Rica. It's Puerto Rico. Mariana Ayala. Back on song with another strike, just that spare in the 5th.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate break in the 5th frame for her. She threw a really good shot and, you know, just caught a bad break.
I think I've jumped to conclusions there because she's got the long brown hair. I just saw Rico. There's obviously Puerto Rico as well as Costa Rica.
Yeah, she actually bowls many of the tournaments in the States, so I've seen her several times.
We are also just keeping an eye on Shannon Lowski over there in lane 21. A strike in the 7th frame of game 5 over there of 8.
Yeah, the little ball change ended up working out pretty well. We actually have our other teammate, John Janowitz, now is down there with her, so we'll be able to bounce some ideas off of him as well.
Strike here in lane 18. Frame 7, that's 7 on the bounce now. 7 bagger for the Colombian. Satisfying when you look up at the scoreboard and it reads like that, going up in multiples of 30.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's also an interesting format here with the point system. You know, take Shannon. You know, since I know her scores, she's I think the 2nd highest, and I believe she's in 3rd, unless she just jumped into 2nd. So it's a little bit different, being able to keep track of what you need to do in each frame.
And some of it's really out of your control as well, though, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, you know, once you get down to the final frame, there's, you know, you could need to strike in every shot, or you could not need to do anything and still get the same amount of points. So it's a little bit interesting, but I find it nice.
Yeah, after 4 games there, 2-1-8, 2-1-3, 2-4-8, and a 2-4-5 puts Shannon in 2nd currently in Group C. That's good enough to qualify for now.
Yes, she has bowled well the last 2 games, so as Rocio there comes off of the 7 in a row, but you know, still a big game out there.
They can still pick up the spare here in lane 17 in the red strip. Buechner there in lane 16 for Germany against Aaron Meccano, Venezuela.
Yeah, it seems as this block of 8 is bowling much quicker than the rest of the field.
Is there an advantage or a disadvantage to that if a group are bowling faster or slower?
It depends on who's in the group. Some bowlers prefer to bowl much quicker, and some, like to take their time. Like I know Rocio, she's much more methodical and likes to take her time, whereas someone like Shannon is a much quicker bowler. I know Diana, we saw from Latvia. She's a slower bowler as well. So it's just it's personal preference. So if maybe you're the only slow bowler in a fast group, that may play a part into just kind of messing up your rhythm.
There's Laura Buechner there, the German, taking out the spare. Just got a blockage there in lane 15 in the gutter, so there'll be a ball sent down to clear that up. Again, just have a quick look at the scoreboard over there in lane 21, and the American Shannon Lachowski strikes in the 7th, 8th and 9th frame. And just out of your picture away to our right-hand side, letting this one go left-handed and smack into the pack of pins and sends it for another strike. Good run.
Yes, absolutely. I guess that was a pretty good ball change, and she can strike out for 235 now.
Back to action here in lane 18. Super strike 2 from Rocio.
She has struggled the first 4 games, but it seems that she's found something. So maybe look for her to make a big run.
Is it often like that? It could take a couple of games just to get your eye in or get the feel for the ball, or just size up the lane that you're in and how it's moving and how it's working.
Yeah, it can. Maybe just something's not comfortable the first couple of games, and just something doesn't feel right, and it can play a part in your execution. But then, if you see a couple shots, more to your liking, then that just gives you the confidence to, throw some more shots just like that.
A lack of confidence there from the Puerto Rican, Ariana Ayala. Another strike in the bank for her. So into the final frame, Restrepo and Ayala. Frame 10, game 5. Lachowski finishing over there with 2-2-4, spare in that 10th frame, a strike and a spare.
Yeah, that. Looking around at the scores, that actually that may be a couple of points that she lost, but we'll have to see how the other bowlers finish.
The 7-pin left there in lane 18 for Ayala in Puerto Rico. Rocio then to pick up the spare. Easily done.
And it looks as if Rocio will capture the 7 points for this game.
Yeah, it looks like it's 2-4-9 currently, and with a strike at the end could take her up to 2-5-9. Ayala to make up some ground as well as she takes out the spare and will get the extra ball to pick up the bonus points. It's the Venezuelan. Strike in frame 1, spares in frame 2 and 3, and a 9 there so far in frame 4. Rocío Restrepo to finish with a strike, and she does. Super game that. 2-5-9 in game 5 of 8. And she's got to be looking good there for the full 7 points by winning that round robin. And up against all 8 players in her group. Laying it down here though. So Shannon just came over and spoke to you there. Did she thank you for the ball? Did she say good choice?
No, not quite, not quite. Maybe later.
Maybe later. Thanks, coach.
But no, she was just kind of looking around at some of the scores and wanted to just make sure that she was on the same page on this next pair that she's moving to.
Again, we've touched upon it already, but it really is just about running your own race at this stage and trying not to get too distracted by what anyone else is doing or any other movement in the field.
Yes, I think that's for the coaches to do in the back, to kind of pay attention to the scores, and you know, if there's a certain number of pins needed or a certain spare or whatever needed, then they can, you know, let the player know. But it's best for the player just to, you know, obviously get as many pins as you can, just like a normal game. But it is very hard to not look around and, you know, watch someone strike and not try to do the same. But yeah, you just have to stay in your own and, you know, make the best shot you can each time you go.
Yeah, just looking down at Rocío's score there after 4 games, and she was down in 7th place. Back in action there is your teammate, Shannon Blahowski.
Yeah, she's actually going back to the other ball that she went to on the other pair, so that the other pair just played a little bit differently. So she had to change balls, but she's gone back to her original, and it's looking very good.
2 of my favourite bowlers actually that I've seen here today, Shannon Blahowski and Jenny Regner here of Sweden, side by side.
Yeah, they both have bowled very well through the first 5 games.
And currently sitting in 1st and 2nd in this group as well, after 4 games. We'll get the results from game 5 and tally those up as well and give you an up-to-date score in the next couple of minutes or so. In the meantime, here's the first delivery from the Swede. Similar result, strike for strike.
We've seen that a few times already today.
Do you ever get bored of seeing a strike? Probably not.
Personally, no, I don't.
Does it become an expectation that every time you deliver the ball that you think it's bang on, or just sometimes you know when you've not let it go?
Yeah, once you once you let it go, you can tell you know, if it's up to par or not. But you know, when you throw it good enough, yeah, you kind of expect to knock them all down. You know, it doesn't always work that way. You know, it's the sport of bowling, but you know, it's some you wouldn't think you'd strike and you do. So it all evens out.
We were chatting earlier as well, sometimes it is just a little bit of luck. So we were talking about the 5-8 ricochet. Sometimes when you hit it, the 5 hits the 8, sometimes the 5 misses the 8, gets hit by another pin on the way through.
Yes. You know, it's up to the machines to lay the pins down in the correct spot. So, you know, that can play a part to it as well. And it's from, you know, 60 feet away, it's hard to tell if they're in the correct spot or not.
Do you think they'll ever bring back the original pin setters?
The pin boys, yeah. There'd be a lot more jobs. There would be a lot more jobs.
Strike there over in lane 16 for Laura Buechner of Germany. It's 4 on the bounce for her. Spare two for Meccano of Venezuela. Seven frames down there in game 5 of 8. Another strike two for Jenny Wegner. 3 on the bounce for her, 3 on the trot.
Her body reaction didn't seem to say that she liked that particular shot, but it worked out.
And neither there did Shannon Blauskis, who picks up another strike as well in the 3rd frame. Strikes are plenty on the 4 lanes that we're focusing on here, lanes 15, 16, 17 and 18 at the 10-pin bowling World Singles Championships.
Yeah, those are always fun to watch, right?
Absolutely. German there, Laura Butner, really getting fired up now in these closing moments of the frame. 2 frames to go in the game. Wegner for Sweden topples the 10. Eventually it went a little shake, a little wobble, and eventually it went over. So a 4-bagger for her now. Venezuelan right on target as well. Well, the strikes are coming in aplenty. Houski adds her name to the list. Small halt in proceedings there. Everyone's taking a bit of a breath. And
yeah, they're making sure, you know, coming down on 15 and 16 to the last few frames that, you know, they take their time and get as many pins as they can to finish the game.
Oh, lovely shot from Laura Butner.
Nice little fist pump.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in the zone there. One of her coaches just up by us as well. That's also 5 on the trot for Jenny Wegner of Sweden. Just tallying them up.
Oh,
Again.
nice lucky break there for Venezuela.
Yep. Super strike from the American.
She seems a bit more confident in that one.
Both girls being such good bowlers, does it help? Can you feed off the person that's bowling next to you in your lane?
Absolutely. If you're both bowling strikes, you want to keep going together, and once they throw one, you want to match them. So it definitely does help, bowling with someone of a higher caliber.
I think it's visible to the eye that there is a lot of good sportsmanship out there. Everyone sort of just a little 5, a little tap whenever someone gets a strike, just to acknowledge it.
Yes,
I really like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a worldwide sport, and these ladies know each other, and they've bowled many tournaments around the world together. So it's definitely nice to see.
Wegner there, just first little fault, leaving the 6 and the 10 pin.
Should be an easy spare.
Yeah, you'd have thought. Team Venezuela firing on all cylinders here. Karen Meccano. There's the left-handed drive in. Look back at that shot there. Meccano. Takes it to 197 in the 10th frame. Still a chance to pick up some points here.
Or with 8 in a row.
Not bad at all. There's the spare, picked up by Wegner. So, 10th frame, second ball. Yes, please. She'll get one more crack at it too.
That possible 227, and Laura is about to bowl for a possible 267.
That'll be enough to take the game. Here she comes from the left to the right and cleans up. Super strike.
267. Looks like that will get her all 7 points for that game.
Great result for the German, who was leading the way in her group. The end of game 5 then for the German. This game 6 for Sweden and America. Remember, they're not going up against each other, they're just fighting off for points. Groups of 8. If you finish top of your group in the game, i.e. score the most points, then you take home 7 points. And you're trying to accumulate as many as you can over the 8 games.
Unfortunate break there for Shannon.
Just a little huff underneath her breath there. She'll just have to regain her focus here to try and take out the 10 pin with the spare. Yeah, it should be relatively straightforward. But yeah, Wagner at this stage just creeping away from her as we come to the close of the 7th. Diana Zavchalova heading back over to lane 15 and 16. You just see her at the bottom of your frame there, just warming up. She'll be back in action. Game 6 of 8 for her coming up. It's Jespers of Belgium. More in the meantime. Rotations on that to bring it back and clatter through the pins. Takes out all 10 and picks up another strike.
She's bowling extremely well today.
I don't want to take all the credit, but everyone that's been in the commentary box so far has been bowling well today. You're through to the men's semi-finals. Tomorrow you're here. Jenny was with us earlier, commentating on some of the men's. So,
well, I'll be more than happy to help you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, great. Same time, same place.
All right.
Just gone 4:15 local time. Planning to bowl up to about 5 o'clock here this evening, by which stage we'll have our 8 semi-finalists, the top 2 qualifying from each pool of 8 here. Latvia back on track with Zavchalova. Another one of the athletes that you see a bit more of over in America as well, playing with the circuit there.
Yes. Diana went to. She's the same age as me, so we were in college about the same time. So I saw her at many of the college tournaments, and still many of the professional women's tournaments that are over in the States.
Pop it into context for the rest of the world, how big a sport it is over there, and certainly at college level, how much everyone gets behind you as a player and the sport.
It's huge, and it's only getting bigger. Every year that there's more colleges that are creating bowling teams, and there's more teams that are entering into all these tournaments. Youth bowling is very, very big over in the States. I believe the big youth tournament each year is called Junior Gold. I believe there was over 3,000 kids that bowled last year in one single tournament. So it's very, very big, especially with the professional level of the PBA. Bowlers from all over the country, or all over the world, I should say, come over to bowl and compete at the highest level.
Spare picked up by Jenny Wagner of Sweden.
Yeah, looking at scores here, looks like Kelly bowled a very nice 279 the last game to extend her lead in her group.
Posadas there, Marianne Lara Posadas of the Philippines on 20.5 points. Any other surprises there in Group A that we're looking at?
It seems like spots 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all within 3.5 points. So, one game could change, could flip-flop all those standings. So it's a very tight race.
Ronstedt in there for Denmark, Gongora Gaza from Mexico and Vancouver of Switzerland as well. All in the mix as we go into the final games.
Yes,
Most of the lanes out there currently in game 6 of 8 at the moment.
Yes, and actually down there in 7th place, Bridget Koppler from Germany. She was actually the #1 seed coming into this tournament, or coming into this step. So it is a little bit surprising to see her struggling, but there's still 3 more games left, and standings can change very quickly in this format.
Yeah, 7 points for a win as well, so that can really highlight how much you can leapfrog your opponents out. Now, what a strike that was from Jenny Wegner of Sweden. Bowling an almost perfect game there. 2 spares in it, the rest have been strikes as we enter the 10th frame.
Shannon picks up her spare there. She can strike on the fill for 227.
Laura Buechner, the German that we saw in action just moments ago in lane 15 and 16. She's top of Group B, 27 points, 6 points behind her is Shayna Ong of Singapore. And again, that's another tight affair in Group B.
Yeah, it's actually very tight in there. Tied for second, along with Karen Mancana from Venezuela.
A Latvian there as well that we can see in action right now, Diana Zavadilova, 17 points currently, 210, a 203, a 218, 181, sort of really let her score down there, and 221 in game 5. Really is just about achieving those levels of consistency. Final frame here then in game 6 for Wegner of Sweden and Hauski of Team USA.
Yeah, they are, with all the strikes being thrown on this pair, they're actually going to be the first pair done in their group.
Strike there for Hauski to bow out on there in game 6. Good way to finish, 227 final score. It's not going to be enough to beat Wegner, who's already on 236 and possible 2 balls remaining here. We're hoping for 2 strikes. The 2 of them side by side. Savagilova contributes with a strike there as well. That's strikes in a row for her. 3rd, 4th and 5th frame. Sorry, just 3rd and 4th frame. Wegner strikes. Oh, what a game this is turning out to be.
Yeah, 246 with a possible 256.
Leads the way at the Group C. Hauski of America.
And if you can see just off to the left of the screen on lanes 13 and 14, you'll see lane 14, Clara Guerrero from Colombia. She has the first 5 strikes, going for the 6th.
She's been on point all through. You'll see her ball just out of shot up here. Right for it in lane 15. Oh, there it is. 6 on the banks. Just the 10 pin left by Wegner of Sweden. So 2-5-5. Final score in game 6. It's a healthy total.
Excellent game. Like she will take the 7 points for her group to extend her lead.
She won the 1st game, the 3rd game, and it looks now like the 6th game as well. So picking up maximum points there, 7 points for a win. But if you finish down in 8th place, only 0 points.
Yes,
Can't take anything back.
Yes. You don't want any of those games.
No. It's more like it from the young Belgian. 3 strikes coming in game 6 for Jespers. He left himself a bit of an uphill struggle there, did Zavagil over there. Just have a quick look at Group D as well and see how that one's shaping up. Not able to actually see all the games live from where we are in our position. Some of the games down away to our right and away to our left-hand side. Wei Fen New of Singapore on 24 points, and Kate Pilkington of Australia also on 24 points in the top 2 positions after 5 games so far. Any other surprises in that group at all for you, Chris?
Not really. Just another tight race. You know, 4th place with 21.5 points, only 2.5 points out. So it's going to come down to the last few games. Li Jin, she's been bowling very well this week, and so has Daria Kovalova. So it is. So we'll look to see if they can bounce back these last few games to get some more points. Actually, Christy Lopez from Puerto Rico has bowled very well this week as well.
She's currently got 12 points, but down in 7th place. But 2 wins there. I don't know how well she did in game 6. It's just still wrapping up, actually. But
yeah, a little hard to see from our seat.
Yeah. But yeah, if say she wins the final 3, that's another 21 points.
Yes, that would be.
That's all she's got to do.
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
There's the spare from Jespers. Vukolos of Australia and Ayala again of Puerto Rico are heading back towards the lanes in 17 and 18. They'll be up next. A real hurry to get that one underway though. Still a fair few games on game 6.
It seems as if Group A has caught up with the Group C that's in front of us. But it seems like Group B and Group D are about 3 or 4 frames behind. But if you look at some of the bowlers that are in each group, you can kind of tell that they're going to be a little bit slower, a little bit quicker.
Does that just come down to experience? Is that what that comes down to in the end, or are there just certain bowlers that prefer to take their time, a bit more methodical?
Yes, just certain bowlers have a preference of staying slower and just not rushing. I know Diana and Clara both are on the slower side. They just like to make sure that everything is in the proper place before they throw each shot.
Great shot there from Mariana. Puerto Rico opening up with a strike, and just a 9 there to start with for Rebecca Vukolos of Australia. Those of you new to the sport as well will see that the bowlers take it in turns. They swap lanes, they go from lane to lane. That dual lanes coming into play. You don't ever get lost where you are, do you, Chris?
No. it helps when your name moves. You just go find your name.
Yeah, follow that arrow. Ayala. Just leaving 10. Great work there away to our right-hand side. We're not really focusing on lane 19, but
nice conversion.
Super finish from Maya of Finland. Left 4 pins and cleared them all out with a spare. Equally good strike there too for Rebecca Vukolos, who finds a range and gets a strike there in the 2nd frame.
Able to see Diana strike in a row and show a little bit of emotion.
And 5 strikes in total now for the Latvian. Team Belgium on course as well.
Yeah, very nice.
So just this spare that needs cleaning up. The old 10 pin. Down it comes. Just shaved it on the left-hand side.
That's what we say back in the States. Don't hurt it. Don't hurt it.
Caress it.
Yes.
Samajalova. 4 strikes in a row. There she has it. Really finding a rhythm out there now in game 6. Good time to start peaking. One game ahead of her in game 7. Rebecca Vuklos of Australia also a strike there in frame 3.
I have not seen Rebecca's scores recently, but I know the first few games she had bowled really well. So we can take a look at that here.
Try and pull those up for you. Which we've pulled up for you there. Vuklos down in 5th place on 15 points.
Yeah, she had 209, 245, and 234 to start. She's had 167 and 180 since. So she's definitely falling down the last 2 games. Actually, it looks like she has got 0 points the last 2 games. So she has, yeah, she has. So
8th in game 4, 8th in game 5.
So hopefully
Those
she
two
can
low scores.
make up some ground. As Diana has left quite the split in the 10th frame, off of 4 in a row.
Yeah, that's a nasty looking field down there in lane 15.
That would not be an easy conversion.
Business for Jespers and Team Belgium. Strong delivery right into the heart of the 10 pins there in front of her, knocking them all clattering down. Ayala for Puerto Rico. Likes it.
Very nice. We're beginning to see the bowlers show a little bit more emotion coming down to the last few games. Really trying to do anything they can to psych themselves up and make some better shots.
Is there an argument that you can get too psyched up and that it's sometimes better to stay more composed?
I believe so, yes. I try not to show too much emotion at all. Just try to stay in the moment, and yeah, if you get too excited, it's hard to bring yourself back down to make a good shot on the next one.
It's a bit different if you played a contact sport and
Yes. You're
trying to get yourself G'd up for a tackle, say in American football, or
correct.
even soccer, where you're competing for the ball off the ball.
Yes, but I've actually noticed a lot of the more European and Asian countries in bowling show much more emotion. So it is kind of their nature. So that's common for them. So they're able to adjust to it much easier.
It's good for TV as well. We like
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
A little fist pump or celebration with the coach. That's it. That's the spirit. As Mariana Ayala clatters her hands together, celebrates with a high five with her coach, using good song. It's a good shot too as well from Jespers of Belgium. Just 9 there in the fifth frame for Rebecca Vukolos. 95 her score after 5 frames. .202 there, the final score for Diana Zavadilova, who was in lane 15 moments ago. Just a little split there too.
Unfortunate, yes.
The Puerto Rican. Jespers, the Belgian, 215. Enough to pick up some points at least, and certainly more than Zavadilova. There's the Australian then. Back on song. 4 strikes from 6. Vukolos. Damage limitation. So 1-2-5 currently for Mariana Ayala of Puerto Rico after 6 frames. Game 7 of 8. Just wrapping up here with some of the groups progressing on to game 8. We're almost there. Some of them only just starting their 7th.
Kelly extended her lead yeah, by about another point.
Finished 3rd in that 6th game. I can presume that the 7th game is still going on, it's still being calculated. But yeah, 3rd, remember, picks up 5 points for Kelly of the USA.
Gondora was not too far behind, and she gained 6 points that game. So it looks like she is now about half a point. She is half a point out of the top 2 as of right now, along with Britt Bronstedt of Denmark. So that is going to be a very exciting finish down in the first 8 lanes.
I was going to say, if they're at the venue, get down and go and check it out. But,
yes.
Yeah, we can't quite keep a camera on every single lane here. There's 32 lanes in total, refurbished and relayed in 2005. Just getting going. Karen Meccano and Sana Masana of Finland, 15 and 16. Venezuela and Finland. The Venezuelan having some success in this lane earlier today. Quite the start she'll have wanted to game 7.
See if she can cover the split.
Vukolos in the meantime, a little scout across and picks it. Good shot. She'll take that.
Exciting. Yes.
It's just skipping and spinning across the surface.
Yes.
Catches a little slick bit of oil, topples the 10. Ayala, like her celebration, it's just a bit self-contained.
Yes.
Well done, me.
Excited but controlled.
Carno, see if she can cover that split. Almost. Just kicked that pin towards the 7, but couldn't dislodge it. So just a couple of frames to go here between Vukolos and Ayala. Just away to our right-hand side as well is Rocio. She's got great energy, hasn't she, when she gets a strike like that we just saw.
She is one of the more fiery, emotional competitors that's in the women's game.
Strike in the 9th for Vukolos. Good finish from her. 4 strikes on the bounce now in the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. One there too for Pasanen in frame 2. 2 back-to-back strikes for her in game 7 of 8 for the Finn. It's certainly not been a dull moment in the last 5 hours or so that we've been here covering these games for you, and we'll be back to do it all again tomorrow, of course, with the men's and women's semi-finals getting going from 3:30 local time.
Yeah, this format definitely keeps you involved. It seems that it's almost impossible for the last game not to mean anything. So there's always, every bowler needs to show up for all 8 games to be able to advance.
So yeah, the men and women shrunk down into groups of 8 tomorrow. The top 2 qualifying from each of the 4 groups of 8 we've got here today. We already know our men's semi-finalists, including Christopher Vi, who's next to us here from Team USA. And, well, we'll find out the top 8 women very shortly. They're in game 7 of 8, so the closing stages of this round of the tournament, this step. Strike there for Meccano. That's more like it.
Yes, she has corrected since the first frame and thrown 2 in a row.
Sometimes it's about be readjusting to
Yes.
the lane and the conditions of that specific lane.
Yes, because each of the lanes do play differently, just from previous shots being thrown. So just going from lane to lane can play a factor.
It's those small margins, isn't it, that
Yes, and
games and frames are won and lost by.
yeah, and you just hope that you don't split like Karen was. Karen did the first frame there. You can hope, hopefully at the worst you can get a spare and move on and learn from it. It's like in this Group C on the higher end down there. It's like Jolene from Sweden at 225, and Shannon just struck out for 225 as well. So they tied. They're the first pair done.
This is for a 4-bagger for Sana Pasanen. Can't get it. Still a chance for the spare though in the 4th frame for her. Into the 10th frame for AR, leaving the 10.
Able to get 9 on her fill for 223, so it's a much better game than the previous 2. Hopefully regain some points for her.
It does just take a little while for the results to come into us here. They're all checked and double checked, of course, making sure that there's no mathematical mistakes. There's the spare for Pasanen to the left of frame and lane 16. Straightforward enough too for Ayala to get that extra ball, having made the spare there in the 10th frame. So a strike here would see a finish on 192. Much better from Vukalos, who's been off the pace the last couple of games, but back in the right scoring margin. 2-2-3 there should definitely bag us some points.
Actually, it looks like that would be about 4th place for this game. So the scores seem a touch higher this game. For this particular group, at least.
Meccano again, strike number 3 from 5. Spare in the 4th frame and not the best start in the 1st frame.
only 6 on her fill for 188. It's, not quite the performance she had a couple games ago on this pair.
And that really is the key, isn't it? Achieving that level of consistency to play game after game.
Yes,
Getting the same sort of result. Good replay there of perfect hook shot in.
Yeah, the more games that are bowled, the more consistent bowlers, rise to the top.
Person playing for and Stephanie Martins next up in lanes 17 and 18.
Stephanie Martins actually went to college with Diana in Latvia. They went to a school in Florida. So it's an international school that brings in a lot of talent from overseas.
Do they go there on scholarship? So they've obviously got their skill set, which is bowling
Yes.
in this case. Obviously schools, universities, colleges look to breed that talent.
Yes. Yeah, they try to create the best team possible, so they will provide scholarships to further education.
Yeah, great idea. So game 8 just about to get underway in lanes 17 and 18. Just looking for how many purple screens there are there, ready to go, because they signify game 8's all set, ready to go. All the red screens are still playing game 7 of 8. Not been too much hanging around. It's Jolene Person playing for of Sweden, who's been around the circuit as well, just leaving the 10 pin there again, and will look to pick up the spare. Martins starts off with a monster strike. She's got that big stamp forward, hasn't she, when she
Yes.
releases the ball?
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah.
Very unique.
She's certainly identifiable as a person playing for as well, picks up the spare. So a good start for those pair. Back to the Venezuelan, Karen Meccano. 2 strikes in a row. This for 3. Just didn't quite get the angle right on that one. Sometimes just lacks the oomph and the final pizzazz that you need.
A little upset with herself on that one. Seemed to have missed her target to the right.
Super strike from the fin.
138 in the 6th with a strike in the 7th. Very solid game so far.
Brazilian plugging another one down, but this time way off target. Didn't even catch the 1 pin on the way through. It was an awkward split there, and we'll see how she copes with that with a follow-up ball. Almost. Not far away.
Gave it a good run.
Yeah, you've got to have a go in those situations. Comfortable spare then for the person playing for. This will be a heck of a shot. But too far left. Bad.
An interesting 3 pins that she got there.
Yeah, I thought the 10 pin might just be left stranded. Never really looked like it was going to make contact with the head pin there, the number 1 pin.
No, not quite.
The front of the bunch.
Sana with another strike. Jolene finds her first strike of the game after 2 spares.
Martins cleans up as well with the strike in lane 18.
Back on track there.
take you through Group C because those results now in.
And it actually seems to be fairly convincing of the 1 and 2. Ginny needs to win. Ginny and Shannon both just need just 1 point. Obviously, they both can't get just one if they do tie, but they do need at least 1 point each to seal their fate into the top 8 tomorrow.
Group C we thought was going to be a plucky affair, the group of death. There's a lot of good players in there. But Jenny Wegner and Shannon Blahowski of the USA and Sweden, they look relatively safe. We'll just keep one eye on Shannon Blahowski, who's away to our right-hand side, playing with Jenny Wegner now in lanes 19 and 20. So in action, but just out of shot of what you can see as a viewer back home. You might occasionally see their balls go flying down the lanes though, away to our right-hand side. So to our left, on the red screens, we've got Sana Pasanen and Karen Meccano going toe-to-toe in the 7th game of 8. Pasanen here delivers the ball, straight, firm, hard and true.
It's 3 in a row for her.
Yeah, great 3 strikes in a row. More casual approach from Stephanie Martins. Gets the spare though, in the 4th frame here in the 8th and final game. One of the shots of the day, that one, I don't think.
No, not quite.
Meccano again delivers and almost gets the strike there, but just one shy.
Yes, that was a very, very good shot from Karen. Just unfortunate that she could not get the 10 out.
So we've got some results in from Group A as well, which feature your teammates.
Yeah, so Kelly has officially sealed her fate into the top 8 with 1 game to go.
It's a good fate.
That is very good. And Sandra had another 220 game to jump into 2nd place. She still has a little bit of work to do. She needs 4 points to shut out Britt Bronstedt and Tanja Kuva from Denmark and Sweden or Switzerland, respectively.
So that last game shaped up there in Game 7. Tanja Kuva of Switzerland winning it, taking the 7 points. Laura Garza there, the Mexican. Yeah, she took 6 points in the last game. That's why she's jumped up into 2nd place there on 30 points. But yeah, as you say, 4 points.
Yes.
In Game 8 would see her safely through alongside her teammate. So good. Plenty of Americans in the final.
So it looks like off to the right of the screen, Ginny has started off with the front 6. So it seems like it's a fairly convincing finish to get her 1 point that she needs.
Amazing, 6 on the bounce. A 6-pack, or wild turkeys as it's known in the game.
Karen finally finds the strike there in the 10th.
Strike there too for Stephanie Martins of Brazil. It's 3 on the trot for her now as well. Last coming in lane 18. Just again finding some rhythm late on. game 8. It's taken a while to come. Some playing for. Again, just one short of the ask. There's a little look at Group C, which has Jenny Wegner and also Shannon Blauski from America in it. Both looking pretty comfortable, 35 and 34.5 points respectively. Mayer of Finland and Person playing for, nipping away at their heels though. Not sure either of them are going to get close.
Yeah, Maya and Plain Force both are having a subpar game, so it's going to be tough for them to get enough points to pass up Jenny and Shannon.
So just grinding it out in these final stages. It's Martins again of Brazil. There's the spare in the 8th frame. Actually never closer.
Karen Marcano finishing her game here. Just 8 on the fill. It's 198.
Yeah, 2 strikes and an 8 in the 10th frame. 198, just shy of the 200 mark. One more game to go for both those players as they pick up their ball and off they trot. Tough split there for Person playing for. Strike there in the 10th for the Swede. Not been the most consistent of games though, this one. Just a full short of the 200 mark. That's better than Martins. Yeah, sometimes it just works. And sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it does not. Unfortunately, more times than not. At least it seems that way.
Yeah, Martins, they're right down at the bottom of the table. 8th currently, picked up only 7 points in this final 32. Finishes with a strike there, and she have one more ball off the back of that. And finish from Person playing for. She too is done for the day. 169, her final score in the 8th game. Not going to be enough, I don't think. 25.5 points currently. Don't see her jumping up into the top 2 from there, not with that score.
7 points would be the maximum, even if she didn't have even a perfect 300 game. She would only get to 32.5.
Perfect finish for Stephanie Martins of Brazil. 4 strikes, strike in the 9th, 3 strikes in the 10th, giving her a final score of 226. A nice strong finish for currently bottom of the table. Might pick up a few extra points there, but again, it's not going to be enough to take her out of that 8th spot.
Coming to lanes 15 and 16, we have Shayna Ng from Singapore and Clara Guerrero of Colombia.
Yeah, I like the look of Guerrero. He's got a good appetite, good eye for it as well. There's a strike to start things off in the first frame.
I believe she was the number 2 qualifier coming into this step.
Just replying with a strike of her own there in her first frame.
We'll let you know that Group C is complete with Jenny and Shannon advancing into the top 8.
Fantastic. 239 score for Jenny Wegner in her final game. 201 for Shannon Blahowski of the USA. Enough for both players to safely navigate their way through to the semi-finals.
It's difficult to see from here, but Group A is finishing up as we speak. That is where Gongora would need 4 points to safely secure herself in.
Yep, currently on 30 points there, the Mexican. Gongora Gaza.
Trying to read body reactions from her as she walked back, and it seemed like she was fairly happy, so it looks like she may have got it done. That is obviously unofficial. She is receiving hugs.
That's a good sign.
Normally a good sign.
She's not crying, is she?
No, so it looks like Kelly Kulik and Sandra Gongora from Mexico and USA will be advancing from Group A.
We're on Group B here as well. We're just got lanes 15 and 16 in action in front of us. Shayna Ung of Singapore picks up the spare in the second frame. Game 8.
It's actually Shayna Ung is only 2 points out of second place, so this is an exciting finish we could see here. Also just beside her on 13 and 14, we'll be able to see Diana Zavialova. She is also tied with 28 points, so 2 competitors competing for that second spot will be within camera range.
Guerrero looks like she's out of the mix. 21 points at the moment after 7 games. A few little glitches in there today. 155 in game 1, 185 in game 3. And just 21 points for the Colombian so far. And again then, still with a chance as she takes down all 10. Picks up the strike, and that's 2 from 3 now. Colombian going along nicely here though, 3 from 3. Just keep an eye out for the occasional ball whizzing down the left-hand flank. It's the Latvian there picking up a strike.
Only 9 there. She did leave the 10 pin.
Oh, didn't see that.
Yeah,
good spot. Well done.
Yeah, you're blocked by the.
Giving her credit for a strike when it was a 9.
I'm sure she would take it.
Yeah, prefer it. Also there, the Colombian leaving the 10 pin in place. Guerrero. Again, really getting those revolutions on the ball. Just double check, yep, they're all gone. That is a strike.
And the other competitor, Karen Marcano, that is in second place, she's on the furthest regardless of the lanes, it looks like she has 2 strikes and a spare to start the game.
Yeah, you've got good eyesight. Looks here, 59 points or so, 2 strikes and a spare. You're bang on.
And the glasses help. And also Laura from Germany, Laura Buchner. She has a spare and a strike, and she will be shooting a single pin spare. She currently has 34.5 points. So she would only need 1 point to secure herself in.
Strike on lane 16 there for all of Singapore.
Yeah, that could be an exciting finish.
I think it is, isn't it? It's gonna go to the wire, this one. This is nip and tuck all the way. Guerrero here, we don't think is gonna be able to do enough, even if she musters up a few more high-scoring plays like that. Another strike for her. It's 4 from 5 for her.
The Latvian just off to the left of your screen with a 5 count. So it's going to be a tough spare conversion here for her.
Yeah, how do you approach a shot like that?
There's 2 ways you can go. You can either go to the left of the head pin and try to send it into the 6 and the 10 on the right. But there are some bowlers that like to hit the right side of the head pin and have the ball hit the left side of the 6 pin. So kind of put the ball in between the gap, as you would say. So it's personal preference of how you would like to shoot it, and let's see what she does.
Well, it's on lane 13, and there it is. Delivered, just took out the top pin there, the head pin.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. That's
leaving 4.
Yes.
A bit too head on there as well from Guerrero.
As if Karen Marcano down on lanes 9 and 10 in the 4th frame had an open frame. She just got 9 in the 5th. Is 74 in the 4th. Working on a spare here in the 5th.
There was another strike for the Latvian. Savchelova. Just away to our left-hand side. We'll try and pick out whatever bits of the action we can away to our left-hand side, because this is all the final action of Group B, a group that still needs to be decided, led currently by the German Buchner on 34.5 points. Karen Marcano from Venezuela on 30 points. Shayna Ung here, you can see in the picture, on 28, but just leaving the 7 pin there. She'll be back to try and get the spare. Colombian Clara Guerrero, currently sat in 6th place after 7 games, earns the strike. It's in the 7th frame.
Latvian off to the left strikes again. So a nice double after the open frame.
Just loitering in 3rd and then in 4th, actually on the same points here, both on 28. Savchelova and Ung.
Ung cleans up her spare in the 7th. Has 149 in the 6th. There's a 38-pin lead currently on Zavjalova. So Marcano leaves another. Looks like she left a split. So she left the 4-10. So she's going to need a big back half of the game to keep this second position.
Couldn't see it just slipping away from her here. We've got eyes on her in the bright yellow shirt over in lane 9 and 10. Just leaving
another 9 count here for Shayna.
Shot, yeah, a 9 count in there. Oh, he danced all around it.
Yes. The Latvian makes it 3 in a row.
Yeah, strikes in the 5th, 6th and 7th now. Zavadilova. Such an impressive delivery, that one from the Belgian. Jespers, who's out of it, 19 points down in 7th place. Takes out the last remaining pin there for the it's up the points. So yeah, 1-7-8, 7 down.
Laura Buthner, the leader of this group, a 98 in the 5th, with a strike in the 6th. Looks like she will be advancing, unofficially, of course.
Yeah, those points in the bank, you'd expect her to go through. She's got a 4.5 point margin there at the top between her nearest competitor and, as you said, Meccano not motoring along there.
Yeah, Buthner just needs 1 point this game to seal her fate.
Back on track with a strike in lane 16.
And it looks like Group D is done as well. It's hard for us to see scores from this angle, so those we are not sure of until they will be posted.
We'll have a quick refresh and see who's qualified from which group. You can give us your thoughts on that, though. So there's your top 2 from Group A. Kelly Kulik and Gongora Garza, USA and Mexico, both safely through.
Yeah, as just off to your left, the Latvian Diana Zavialova split in the 8th. And it looks like that might end her chances at making the top 2.
So Group B to be decided. That's just playing out in front of us now. Jenny Wegner and Shannon Kohowski, Sweden and the USA. They're both safely through from Group C and make the women's semi-finals this time tomorrow.
Shayna Ung throws the first strike in the 10th. Actually, if she
just doing some quick math, aren't you? I can see you there.
Quick math, yes. If Shayna strikes here, she will gain all 7 points.
Yeah, she's currently on.
Yes. Well, Laura can actually tie her if she continues to strike out, but she is only in the 7th frame.
No final results in yet from Group D. We're just waiting for that, but it was Hui Fen Nhu from Singapore who was leading away on 35.
Shayna with an 8 count here. Clean this up for 2-3-6.
Very nice, strong finish.
Clara can strike here for 2-3-8, which will steal a point away from Shayna.
See, it's sort of out of her hands, really, this one.
Yes, looks like Karen continue to struggle. Actually, she just she missed a single pin last frame down there on 9 and 10. So
2-3-6 and a 2-3-7 here in lanes 15 and 16. So just missing out by 1 point to the Colombian Guerrero, who has the highest score in the pool so far, as they jostle for final position.
Yes, my best judgment, it looks like it is Laura Buthner and Shayna Ung unofficially. But it looks like as the scores come in that Shayna can do no worse than 5 points.
Yeah. Well, there's the table as it was coming in.
Yeah, so that would put her at 33. Well, let's see. Karen can only strike for 170. She would need to get 4 points.
As you say, we'll look out for the celebrations as well.
Yes. Yes, it looks like Shayna may have done enough. She will actually get 6 points now, as Laura did not strike in the 9th. That can max her at 227. So that will put Shayna at 34 points. And I'm not positive that Karen can get to 34. Looks to be Laura and Shayna Ung out of Group B. Let's see if we can see Group D scores. See if they have been posted. They have.
Yep. D all confirmed with semi-finalists for the Netherlands and Singapore, Wei Fen Nhu, and then Stichter van der Tol of the Netherlands. 40 points and 38 points, both going through. Kate Pilkington just missing out from Australia, finished in 3rd with 30 points.
As you can see, this interesting format. Wei Fen Nhu actually beat Stichter van der Tol by 75 pins, but van der Tol actually had 2 more points, so it's interesting how this format can play out.
Is that a good thing, a bad thing? What else can you read into that? Is it fair? Is it unfair?
It's, everyone has to do the same thing, so
yep.
I believe it's fair. It's just another format that you have to bowl, so it kind of, it's unfortunate sometimes where you can knock down more pins but place lower than another person. So, but it's it's interesting.
So we're almost there. Just the concluding results to come in from Group B.
It looks like Karen finished with a 160 game. Yeah, so that will not be enough for her.
The bowl game tomorrow morning at 11:30. Finals and semifinals are in the afternoon, and we have the closing ceremonies at 6 o'clock here at the Bowling Center. As you will dress. Thank you.
So we'll wrap things up here, and Chris, will wish you all the best for your semi-final tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me in the booth here.
Thank you for coming in and casting your expert eye on it. Always good to have company up here in the commentary box. And yeah, best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Well, that is just about it from us here at the World Singles Championships 2016. We're going to try and squeeze in a few quick interviews between now and closing time, though. And we'll have a quick chat with Jenny Wegner, the Swedish star, who's qualified for the semi-finals. We'll try and get the thoughts of her in the next couple of moments or so and see what she makes of making it through to tomorrow's semi-finals. Remember, all the action starting live for you tomorrow from 3:30 in the afternoon. Men's semi-final, followed by the women's semi-final between 3:30 and 4 o'clock tomorrow. That followed by the women's final, then the men's final, and then, of course, the medal ceremony. So stick around for the interviews if you can, and if not, we will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Jenny in Swedish.
You can say whatever you want.
What do you
Yeah. It's Jenny.
Jenny for us, but Jenny in Swedish. Jenny Wegner with us here, lane side. Congratulations, you're through to the semi-finals. How does that feel?
It feels really good. That's what I came here for, to make it through, and now it's for the medals.
Does your mindset change at all between now and tomorrow, now that you are competing for a medal?
No, I think the same, and do the same as I would normally do. It's making the best shot as I can do. So.
Where did it really click for you today? What were the components or parts of the process that you were most happy with?
No, it felt from the start that I knew what I was doing, and I had my coach behind me who was keeping track on what I had to do with the next shot, so I was pretty calm.
How much input does your coach have at that stage? Obviously, you're out there and you're having to deliver the shot after shot, but what level of input do they have during a game?
It's really good to not have to think about those things and just focus on your game, and he can do all the other changes, so you can relax a bit more.
You think you can go on and win it?
Hopefully. Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks very much for your time. Good luck in the semi-finals.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Quick photos, and then you'll be done for the day.
Have a quick chat with Sandra from Mexico. She's qualified for the semi-finals as well. I think you're about to have a photo call with all the 8 semi-finalists. How does it feel to be in that semi-final?
I'm really happy to be here all the way from Mexico. I didn't have a good week for qualify, but I managed to bowl much better today, and we did a lot of changes and stuff, and it worked. So I'm just happy to be here with the best bowlers, and tomorrow we'll do our best.
You mentioned some of those changes. What did you change specifically? What did you have to focus on?
Well, I managed to find another bowling ball that it was in my bag, right? I didn't use it the last 3 days, so I managed to change the angle, and I throw really hard, so I have to be a little soft. So I went left and tried to hook a little more, send it to the right faster. It was tough the first 4 games, to be honest, but then they dried, so it got a little better to carry. So I stayed calm, and I was really patient, and I just felt that this format is like gambling, because you're waiting, and it feels exciting to have some points, and then you see your name going up and then down, and I love bowling, so like whatever it takes, I'll just try to do my best.
So it's a big thumbs up for the new format, because obviously that's being trialled here and it adds a bit more jeopardy.
Well, for me, it's my first time bowling this tournament, and so since it's my first time, so I didn't know how it worked. I like it. Like I don't care to do this or to do what we're used to. At the end, you have to make good shots. At the end, you have to enjoy it and just do what you have and try to perform well, right? Whatever the format is.
Well, good luck in the semi-final tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hi to everyone.
Shannon's also qualified from Team USA. How does it feel to be in that semi-final?
Definitely great. We kind of both had a rough start this week, so to find something on these last 8 games was, great.
We had Chris Vine next to me in the commentary box for some of that play this afternoon. You kept sort of going back and forth with him. What sort of levels of discussion were you having?
We've been good friends, and I trust his opinion. So just another set of eyes watching. We were discussing ball changes instead of just maybe shifting on the lanes and moving. Since I'm the only lefty and I bowled on each pair only once, then when I went back there, just if the ball was doing something different, what ball I should go to next.
It seemed like it was just clicking for you today, whether it was the ball change or whether you just had your eye in, or you just seemed to find your rhythm. What do you put it down to?
I definitely do feel like I bowled much better today than the last 3 days. Just was able to make consistent shots, and then when the pins fall over, your swing gets a little bit looser. So luckily they fell over, and looking forward to tomorrow.
How are you feeling going into a semi-final? Do you get nervous? What sort of feelings do you have as a player?
Not so much nervous. We'll just see what tomorrow brings, and there's some more lefties, so have to pay extra close attention to what's going on so I make the proper moves fast enough.
Does that affect the surface if you've got another lefty there? Does that sort of change the way the ball moves for you in a lane?
A little bit. We haven't really bowled like after each other or around each other this week, so it's going to change it a little bit. Probably not drastically because it's not as many games and as many people, but we'll see a little bit of a difference.
And for you from here, is it now you've really got to make a push and get through the semi-finals and then you can get into that final?
Definitely, but can't try harder. You just have to play smarter and hope that everything works out.
Okay, well, we're hoping and praying for you, and I'm sure the fans back home are as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Have a great day.
Thank you.